Are you ready to learn the different types of virtual assistants that are out there and how to gain experience if you have no idea what they do? If this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run a virtual assistant agency. So I know a thing or two about being a virtual assistant. And I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so don't miss any of my videos. So first and foremost, you're probably wondering, what does a virtual assistant do? So virtual assistant is you're someone who provides a specific service for your client. And if you are a client yourself and you're trying to figure out what kind of assistant that you need, hopefully as you go through the rest of this video, you'll have a good clarity on right off the bat, what can an EA do or a virtual assistant do for me. In the last couple of videos I've been talking about how to do certain jobs without experience, how to do it as a teenager, how to do it as a student. So I thought I wanted to do the next wrap up video for this month as a way to introduce you to being a virtual assistant. What do they do and what are the types of virtual assistants jobs basically that you can have right off the bat. So the first one is the more common admin virtual assistant. So an admin virtual assistant, as you can imagine it, is someone who takes care of a lot of admin tasks in the office. So this could be you doing email management, calendar management. It's going to also be you talking to a lot of different people. You can imagine it as if you were in an office, you were the front of house. You were the person, you were the secretary basically that people go to for whenever they need different things done around the office. You're that person. So an admin virtual assistant is mostly on, again, file management, documentation creation, things like that, in that manner of things that needs to get done in the workplace that isn't really for the specific people. So for example, let's say for your client, they want to be focused on their, the clients of the business, the customers of the business. For some of the people you might be working with, they might be the service providers, for example. So for you as the admin virtual assistant, you're keeping them together and on track so things can keep moving along in the business. If this is something you are curious about, I really recommend that you brush up on the usual tasks a admin virtual assistant does, which is, again, calendar management, email management, file management. Some of them do a little bit of a light bookkeeping, but not too much. And some of them go ahead and do a little bit of contact management, where they're managing who's who in both the business and for the clients and customers that the business has. If you want to gain experience in this, you can start interning in some of the places or the industries or the niches that you want to go into, just because most of the time when you're interning, you're learning the ropes of how these different roles and skills works. So that's where I really recommend that you start. The next kind of virtual assistant is a project manager virtual assistant. Now in 2XU, in my agency, this is one of the common roles that we hire for. What you basically do is you're managing all of the different projects that are going on in the client's company. So as a really good example, within a quarter, within a year, there are different things that are going on, whether you are monitoring client delivery, where you're making sure from the onboarding all the way to delivery to offboarding a client, you're managing that whole funnel or process, or you could be actually managing the different projects that are going on in the company. So for example, for us at 2XU, different projects that we've had is like updating all of our employee manuals. Some of them have been updating our assets, so on and so forth. So as the project manager virtual assistant, from, again, beginning to finish of that project, you're tracking it, you're supporting the people doing the project, or you might be the one doing the project yourself, and you're giving updates to the relevant people of that project. So you're just making sure that things are running smoothly all throughout that process. And if you want to gain experience in this, if you already have work or if you are even in school, you can start leading projects that you have going on in the employment that you have or in the school that you have. If you have organizations that you're in, you can start leading them, because on your resume, it'll show that you have experience leading and managing projects as well. Next is a social media / content manager virtual assistant. Now, nowadays, this is one of the more common types of virtual assistants people will go for. Usually it's like admin assistant the first thing, and then it's like social media and content, just because it does take a lot of time and it actually does help in the business. So if you're a social media VA in someone's business, you are in charge of the creation basically for the content that needs to be created, posting it, engaging with the people going into it. And when you're a content manager, you are managing the content that your client is creating. So as a really good example for myself, I create 2 videos a week. So then my assistant acts a little bit as a content manager in that way, where she's making sure things are published, things are worked on by the actual social media managers in the company. And she also helps file and making sure that we track what content we've done before and what content we haven't done before. So that's basically kind of the vague differences between the 2 roles. And if you want to get into it, I really suggest that you can experiment and create your own brand, or create just like a made up, like for your own experimentation, a kind of business that you would want to work for. You can start creating a portfolio around it. You can start looking at what works for other people. So for example, if I wanted to become a social media manager, I would document all the books that I've been reading and start curating basically a really good Instagram and Pinterest account where I'm just posting regularly, because then I can test out and see what works, experiment with reels, so on and so forth. Next is a marketing virtual assistant. Now, different from the social media and content manager VAs, a marketing VA is someone who is in charge from almost everything from strategy into putting it all into a content calendar, creating marketing campaigns of like, hey, for this week, let's post every single day on Twitter, for example, or hey, let's go ahead and run ads. So you are running basically marketing projects in a way in your client's business and pushing so then you can get certain results depending on what your client does. You're more of the marketing VA. You are in charge of either pushing basically to get people interested in your client's business, or simply upgrading and having a better way for your client to be able to have a better reach on social media or for the different marketing campaigns. So this could also be like email marketing that you're doing. This could be pushing things out on like things like Score App, where you have a scorecard where people go through. It's a lot of different various things, just because for you are in charge of guiding them through that process. So if you want to gain experience in this, if you've never done this before, starting in social media as a VA actually is a good way for you to start learning the ropes and start seeing and picking, okay, this is when I become a marketing VA, these are different things that I would put into place, because you're seeing again how other people are doing it, so you can make it your own and replicate it. Next is a finance or bookkeeping virtual assistant. So earlier in being an admin virtual assistant, you might do some light bookkeeping, so on and so forth. But when you're a finance bookkeeping assistant, as the name kind of implies, is you will be in charge of reconciling, taking care of the financial sheets or financial reports of your client's business. So if you're someone who already has a background in accounting, it's probably going to be easier for you to get into this kind of role. Or if you've had other experiences, maybe you ran your own business and you're familiar with payroll, you're familiar with bookkeeping, this might be something that would be easier for you to get into. And if you have no experience at all, those are kind of the roles that you have to prepare yourself for. You can offer light bookkeeping and train yourself. There's a lot of really good modules out there. Depending on the city you're from or the country you're from, there might be specific rules that you have to follow, but just getting yourself, dipping your toe in accounting or finance or bookkeeping will be the first part for you. Next is a lead gen or sales virtual assistant. So if you remember earlier, for marketing VA, you are in charge of bringing people who are interested or who might be interested in your client's business. When you are a lead gen or a sales virtual assistant, you're in charge of getting them through the rest of the funnel. So what a funnel is you imagine it as like a V shape going down, like a funnel of people who might be interested in your client's business, bought something from your client, is now a loyal customer. That's the shortest version of how I can describe that. Basically, the numbers get less and less every time. And when you're a lead gen or a sales assistant, you are someone who are bringing people through that funnel until the point where they're now a loyal customer for your client. Lead generation is basically the process of generating leads for your client's business. As a perfect example, you guys are a lead of someone who either you want to learn about how being a virtual assistant looks like, or you're someone who is looking for a virtual assistant yourself. So in both ends, you are a lead. That's why you're on this YouTube video. So for you, when you're a lead gen assistant, you are either contacting people who could be possible clients, following them up, getting them through the funnel. When you're more of a sales VA, you might be closing them. You might be signing them up as a new client or customer for your client's business. If you want experience on this, honestly, the best way for you is to start kind of a little bit of affiliate marketing for yourself. So it's looking for products that you already like, things that you already like doing, and then going ahead and selling these products or services that you like and getting a cut out of it. This way you start getting used to a little bit of rejection, a little bit of knowing how to narrow down who you want to email or target based on the product or service that you're trying to be an affiliate for. Next is a customer service virtual assistant. So just like how you brought in the leads and the customers now, the customer service virtual assistant is someone who manages them, manages inquiries. It just started pouring outside, so it got a little bit darker on my end, but hopefully you guys are still with me through the whole thing. So if you want experience in being a customer service virtual assistant, if this is something that you do want to do, you can start by pitching yourself to local businesses or businesses that you like yourself and say like, hey, can I manage your customers for you? Can I respond to Facebook messages or emails? I'll help create templates for you, so on and so forth. And of course, you can use ChatGPT to create a lot of those templates for you. Next type of virtual assistant is a recruitment virtual assistant. So when you're a recruitment virtual assistant, this means that you are in charge of recruiting people into your client's company. So this could be ranging from, hey, you looking at resumes, it could be you hopping on calls with people to verify their information, it could be you actually fully interviewing them for the job. And if this is something that you're curious about and you want to gain experience on, if you can get somehow some HR work done, or you can apply as an intern basically for a recruitment company, these are one of the ways that you can gain experience for this kind of job. Next is an operations virtual assistant. So you can think of an operations virtual assistant as kind of an upgrade to the project manager virtual assistant, and also a combination of then the admin virtual assistant. So when you're running operations part of someone's business, you are helping making sure that things are flowing and working in the right way. Everything from maybe client acquisition or sales and marketing, could be you looking at how the delivery is going, how people are also taken care of on the HR side. So you're very much the overall, you're basically the next step to your client, who is probably the boss. So when you are an operations virtual assistant, you're taking care of documentation, standard operating procedures, all that good stuff to make sure that for your client, things are running smoothly. And if you want experience on being an operations virtual assistant, start with project management virtual assistant, just because from here, you can see different ways that the business works, and you're able to pick up on what are the things that will be needed basically to have the business run better and better. Another type of virtual assistant is someone who's a website management virtual assistant. So if you're someone who has experience in managing websites like WordPress or Wix or so many others out there, this might be something that you might be interested in. So if you have experience in being able to edit pages, create websites from scratch, these are basically the things that you would be doing. And if you're interested in having experience on this, try or start with creating your own website from scratch as well. Try experimenting, of course, studying and training yourself on how to do this. So then when your client asks for a portfolio, you actually have a portfolio that you can show them. Another type of virtual assistant is someone who's a platform-specific virtual assistant. What I mean by this is you are a Facebook virtual assistant, or you're a Pinterest virtual assistant. There's a lot of examples of that out there. It could be that you're tool-specific, like a Notion virtual assistant, depending on what your specialty is. That's why it's platform-specific. You're able to perform for them, you're able to show them things that they probably would not have figured out on their own. And if this is something you want to do, pick the specification that you want to be an expert in. Basically find which platform you already like doing before and start becoming that expert. So then if anyone needs help in setting up basically in that platform or getting a strategy done, you can be that person for them. And lastly, but never the least, it is a personal virtual assistant. So what a personal virtual assistant does is you kind of like if your client was right in front of you, you basically take care of your client's personal life. So what this means is you are helping them order things online, you're helping them send gifts to family or friends, you are helping them research for things that they want to do in their life. So as a really, really good example, my own assistant, Honey, she's a little bit of a mix of a personal VA as well. It is because she helps me with, my own flights. She helps me manage my travel when I'm going around. She helps me schedule a lot of things in my life that are going on, blocking things from my calendar. So when you're a personal virtual assistant, again, imagine you are that personal assistant right in front of your client and you're managing their life from afar. And if you want to gain experience in being a personal virtual assistant, it's mostly just maybe pitching yourself to clients that you want to work with of like, hey, I want to be your personal virtual assistant. What does your day look like and how can I make it easier? Because that's basically going to be your main focus. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below What kind of virtual assistant do you want to become? I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to run a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. Hope you guys have an amazing day, and remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!